true Reddit stories. What are the creepiest, scariest stories, real or not, you've ever heard? When I was little, about 5 years old and younger, strange things would happen in my house. For the most part, it was unexplained noises and objects moving in my bedroom while I was sleeping. Being so young, I didn't know this was unusual, and since my parents were always calm when I told them about it, I wasn't scared by these occurrences at the time, except for one instance that still sends shivers up my spine when I think about it. This will be important later on. My dad and I are dark-skinned, the color of cinnamon. One evening, when I was around 4 years old, I was drawing/coloring in a little tent I made for myself in my bedroom by throwing some bed sheets over a little table I had. At the time, my parents and grandmother were watching TV in the living room down the hall. I was laying on my stomach under the tent with my coloring book in front of me when I felt someone grab the back of my thigh. Thinking it was my dad because it felt like his large hand, I turned to look over my shoulder and saw a man's hand retract from under the table. Except my dad is dark-skinned like me, and this hand was white as snow. I was stunned, watching this hand slowly leave my field of view, wondering who could be here in my room without me ever hearing someone come in or leave. It felt like an eternity, but was probably only about a second until I realized an intruder was in my house, and I might be in danger. I screamed bloody murder, too scared to come out from under the tent, not knowing what else to do. My parents barreled down the hall and into my room looking for what was making me scream, checking the windows to make sure they were locked, and searching my closet and under my bed. They found nothing, but I was inconsolable for a good while, and when I calmed down enough to tell them what happened, they tore my house apart looking for whoever touched me. Everything had been locked since my dad had gotten home from work, and my grandma had been home all day with no unusual incidents to report. We eventually moved, and I never experienced anything weird in the new house, but it still gives me the creeps to think that something or someone grabbed me right under my parents' noses and disappeared in the 5 seconds it took my parents to come running into my room. Story 2. This actually happened to me. 2 a.m. this past July. It's a twofer. My 1-year-old wakes up screaming. Not terribly uncommon. I go in and try to console her. Give her a bottle, nothing. She is freaked the fuck out. It happens. She'd been doing this night terror thing lately where she just woke up terrified, presumably from a nightmare. My wife takes her shift and tries to calm her down. Nothing. So around 2:30, I decide it's time for a car ride. We have 2 cars and we took my wife Yaris. We load the screaming baby into the car, back out of the garage and are on our way. I know a nice 30-minute drive into the country. We live in a pretty big town, so we had to drive a little to get out of it. The roads are empty at 2:30 a.m., so I want to get a good long drive in to make sure the baby stayed asleep. Once we're out of town, I head down a long stretch of basically middle of nowhere road. I hang her right onto an even smaller road, 45 miles per hour speed limit. And after about a mile down this road, I see something strange. There are ditches on either side of the road filled with water 3 foot deep. I biked the road myself before. I do a 25-mile loop, and I know that there isn't much shoulder room. Up ahead, I can see traffic cones blocking the road off. No signs for road work. No warnings. No light at all. The cones just block the road. What? So at this point, I'm expecting to be a victim of a highway robbery. My wife and I kind of look at each other a little nervous, and I realize I need to make a quick 3-point U-turn. Now, I want to preface this part with the fact that I was pretty creeped out to begin with, so this could have been my mind playing tricks on me, but I'm pretty sure that I saw what I saw. I slow the car down at the last possible second, begin to make the turn, and as my headlights pass over the ditch on the left side of the road, I see the silhouette of a person standing on the other side of the water. My wife was looking the other way to make sure no cars/psychos with chainsaws came from the other direction, so she didn't get as good a view as I did. As soon as I got that car straightened out, I went from 0 to 60 in. Well, it's a Yaris like a step or 2 up from a Geo, probably not terribly fast, but I had that fucker floored. We got the hell out of Dodge and went straight back home. We get home and we go to put the now sleeping baby back down. As we enter her room, we notice that her closet door is open, We make a habit of closing the closet door because mostly I think it's creepy for her closet door to be open at night. Did we leave it open? Maybe. That's not the end of it, though. My curiosity now piqued, I decide to make sure the remainder of the doors in our house are shut and locked. The front door wasn't locked. Did we forget to lock it? Maybe. Why was the baby crying? 'Cause she's a baby? Maybe. I slept the rest of the night sitting in a chair in the living room with the TV on, while hugging the thick end of a two-piece pool cue. Thanks for watching. Follow for more stories like these.